Here we are. Welcome to the DCI episode number 7, one of my personal favorite numbers. I don't really know why. Why is 7 such a special number?
7 ties to a lot of things, man. I mean, there's a lot of biblical things that go to 7.
Okay.
There's just a lot of there's a lot of things that tie to 7. It's always considered the lucky number.
Sure. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So it's what you want to get in craps, right? Isn't that the deal?
Right?
7 or 11.
Yep. And I mean, if you go to the casinos, they always have all of your slot machines are
seven,
always like
7.
777.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, speaking of that, we were in Vegas not that long ago, but we're not going to revisit that. But we are going to talk about episode 7 here. We are going to go back through a quick snapshot of episode 6. So we talked about card shows, right? Obviously something that we do a ton of. I was actually looking at our board earlier today. So the National is less than 3 months away.
Man, I'm so excited.
We have 20 shows on the board between now and the National not counting. And I think there's only like 11 weeks. So we're doing good. We're busy and we're everywhere. So, but we talked about, card shows, and I know that we're going to do another episode of that and probably right after the National because we have so many new shows that we've been attending. So we'll talk about that down the road. The other thing that we've done since the last episode is we shot our first episode of DCI After Hours, and that was something a little bit different. The first episode got released onto our YouTube, and then going forward, it's on our Patreon. So that's something. So if you haven't checked that out, youtube.com to watch our first episode. It is the edited version. It's the child safe version. And then if you go to Patreon, you will find the non-child safe version of that.
The best thing about that versus here is I actually get to have a cigar while we talk.
Yeah.
This is I'm just going to start firing one up in the office.
There is actually a one of the tiers in our Patreon is called, I think it's called Sticks and Stones, where it's literally, I think it's like $8 a month, and someone is just to buy us a drink or a cigar.
Nice.
Yeah. So they get nothing else other than access, and then they buy us a drink or cigar. Sweet. So we appreciate you.
It's only $8 though?
It's $8 a month. Yeah.
Oh, I was about to say, because I don't smoke a stick that's less than $15 a stick. So
well, maybe we'll need 2 people to cover you on that.
Where most of those are like $30 and $35
they do
sticks.
Get expensive. So. Yeah. So, but anyway, so still a really cool thing, and we'll make sure that if you've done the Sticks and Stones package, that we call you out, say, hey, thank you so much to Joey or whoever for providing this. So there's a bunch of other stuff, but anyway, so Patreon.com. So check us out on there. So, all right. So what we're going to discuss today here is we want to talk about some of the recent changes that are happening inside the business of DCI.
Okay.
And one of those is in regards to labels. So I'd love for you to kind of take that away and talk about some of the new upcoming things that are in our new label.
Absolutely. So everybody has seen our SLAB label where it's the white with the black. So we wanted to be more uniformed on our approach with those labels. And so we have our new RCR labels coming out, which will be more matching to our actual SLAB label. Now, there is an added benefit to the new labels coming out. Every card that is in a new label will go through an authentication process.
Got it.
They will be measured. They will be authenticated. Everything will be done just like a normal grade on the card would be. In the past, all of our previous RCR cards, we just graded the card's condition. We looked at the card, we graded the condition, we didn't do the measuring, we didn't do whether or not measuring, checking to see if it was, 100% authentic. And, some people have come to us and been like, hey, you graded this card and it's not authentic. Yes, because we just graded the card and because we weren't encapsulating them.
Sure.
We were providing, it's just like, if you send a reprint into PSA, they're going to grade the card for you. It's going to come back on the label as a reprint. Well, these were just all RCR cards that we were just grading the card and its condition.
Yeah.
So with the new labels, we will now authenticate the card through the process, and we will even have an authentic altered and so on with the particular label. So if the card has been trimmed or is, any type of questionable authenticity, they will be tagged as questionable authenticity.
Gotcha.
And then the authentic alters will be tagged as an altered card. So.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, are we starting to authenticate autographs yet in that new process?
We have not started the authentication of the autograph part yet, but that is something that we are going to do.
Yep.
We will probably do that when the new labels hit the shelves. We'll probably do the authentication of autographs because you can't be a grading company if you're not authenticating you know, autographs and everything else. So
Yeah.
if there's any questionable authenticity on the autograph, those will be kicked back as well. And then we're going full force, just like you sent the cards into the office and they went through the full steps here. We're going to do the same thing on the RCRs.
That makes sense. So that's a good proof for, you know, this next progression step. As we keep taking steps, right, we keep releasing this. It's all about that transparency and the education and all those things. So.
100%. Yeah, we want to be transparent with all of our customers.
Yep.
And this is just another one of those steps. Also, if you have previously graded a card with us in an RCR form that has the old label on it,
okay,
bring those to us at the show or mail them in. We will put them in new label holders for you for free. So we're not going to charge. Yeah. We want to make sure all of our customers have our new labels. If they want our new labels, to make sure the card is fully authentic, to make sure there's no, you know, trimming or anything along those lines. So they'll go through the full authentication process that way and get the new label attached, and it's free of charge.
Gotcha. So what happens if during that process we find out that a card had an issue at that point?
Yeah, meaning
it was graded 7 before, and now we found out that the card actually had an authenticity issue, or maybe the card had been trimmed. What would we do at that point?
So at that point, it's going to be moved up, just like if the card was mailed into us to be encapsulated. The encapsulation portion of the grades have to be re-reviewed anyway.
Sure.
And so we would not encapsulate any card that has been, you know, deemed as altered or non-authentic.
Yep.
So it's best that you run through and get our new label and provide that, you know, get that authenticity done to the card. So that way when the slabs come out, you do have those to be able to slab. So we would return those cards in if it's an authentic card, it would get returned in an authentic, altered, new tamper-proof RCR label.
Yep.
So
yeah, and I bring that up for people because if you had shipped that card in to go ahead and have that card encapsulated, you would have still paid the encapsulation fee at that point. But because of the fact that we're doing this for free to get those labels changed and make sure that everything is completely good with that, then that's a different thing. I'd rather get that done if there was any sort of issue for free than to have paid for the encapsulation and then find out that I didn't get what I thought. So
100%.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So,
and I mean, we're doing the full measurings at the shows now, the whole 9 yards. So anything previously that you see in the old DCI labels, just remember those are just cards graded by the condition of the card. They have not been measured. They have not been authenticated. But going forward with the new labels, when you see the new white front labels with the black on the back, just like our slab labels.
Yeah, for sure.
Those are 100% authentic.
Cool. That's awesome. Any other notes or any other thing that kind of, spurred all of this, or what's your thoughts?
I mean, we just wanted to be able to provide the best thing for our customers and just getting the feedback from a few people, with the, people were asking, what do you believe this card is authentic? Y'all graded it, blah, blah, blah. We wanted to make sure that our products that we provide to the customers, people can rest assured when they buy our label that it's 100% authentic.
Sure. Yeah, that's good. Great move. Cool. So I want to move on to, as we talk about cards, as we always do, right? Okay. Current events and all this stuff. There's a lot of things going on right now in the sports card world. So we have the NBA playoffs are going on right now. So we'll touch on some of that. You've got the NFL draft that's coming up. You have NHL's about to start their playoffs. You have the Major League Baseball is, in its first month-ish kind of time frame there. So you have all the major sports going on in a lot of different avenues. So I'm going to start with NBA a little bit. I know you'll watch, and pay attention to some NBA, but want to talk about the investments that could be out there. There's a couple rising stars that are going on right now. Two namely would be Jordan Poole and Jalen Brunson, have both had really, really good playoffs right now. You've seen this 100 times, right? The hot player happens, the hot rookies, things start to go crazy. What's your thoughts on buying into that hype, or do you just kind of sit back and wait?
No, I'm not buying any of that. Not the first card. I mean, a lot of people. I mean, I'm not a buy and flip in an hour or a day type guy anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are a lot of people out there that do that. So if that's something that floats your boat and something you enjoy doing, then I mean, yeah, you can buy some of that stuff on the hype. and then turn around and flip it when he has a big game. But that's just not my thing. So
Sure.
I'm not buying Jalen Brunson. I'm not buying Jordan Poole. I'm not buying any of that stuff.
Yeah.
That's
Gotcha.
a total waste for me.
Yeah. So there's ways that our viewers can get in and out if they get in and out quickly, but you can get hurt a lot too, right? That could have been Jordan Poole's last phenomenal game, and then it just tanks from there.
Exactly.
So,
I mean, look at Tyler Hero. He went off in that bubble during that thing.
sure.
People were like going crazy over Tyler Hero.
Yep.
And then it just tanked.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't play that game.
That makes sense. So what about some of the, the stronger veteran players that have been out in the league right now that may, when you think of like a Steph Curry, or you think of Jason Tatum that's been around for a few years, Luka's still in it right now. So like, what are the thought process around any of those types of people that are a little bit more established?
Yeah. I mean, the Luka market, I still think it's so high that there's just not enough room to make any money on Luka right now. And I just don't think they're going to have, and I'm going to say this, and hopefully this is not a rewind back later to say, they actually won. But, I love Luka. I've made that comment before. I'm a Dallas Mavs fan, but I just don't think they have the team that's going to get them the NBA championship. The team that I think is still going to win the NBA championship is Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors. 100%. I think they're going to be the ones to take it all. And I mean, some of these other guys, I don't think they're going to have enough. But when you're looking at doing the investment side of the cards, it's not just about here's a prime example for you. Who won the Super Bowl?
This last year?
Yeah.
Matt Stafford.
Okay. How much of his card prices went up after he won the Super Bowl?
They did not.
They did
which
not.
is really sad as a Lions fan.
At all. And it's because of Stafford doesn't have that brand. Mm-hmm. And so everything in card collecting and investing, you have to look at the brand of the players. Steph Curry has a good brand. Mm-hmm. Michael Jordan has a good brand. Luka has a good brand. That's what drives his stuff up the way it is right now. Those guys have good brands. Jason Tatum is a phenomenal player, but he don't have a brand. So therefore his stuff don't go astronomically high like Luka.
Sure.
And so on. So but yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the prices for Luka right now. We discussed that on the after hours thing. I do believe. I think he's one of the most overpriced athletes that are out there. But I do like Luka, but not for card prices.
That makes sense. So one of the things that I had as a theory, so using Matt Stafford as an example, so I think that the longer that it takes for a rookie to become heavily established in the league, the further that their chances go down. So Stafford, obviously, what was this, his 12th season or something like that, finally made that run. Before that, I think he had one win in the playoffs over the first, 11 seasons or whatever more. So I think because of that, I think that it hurts almost like a recency bias type of a thing comparative to Joe Burrow, whose prices went vertical because the more recent player who didn't win.
And see, I am an LSU Tiger. Anybody who knows me, it's go Tigers all the way. Yeah. But come on.
Right.
People lost their ass on Joe Burrow. There is no reason that they should have ever been paying those types of prices. People have so much FOMO, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's 100%
And they've got to quit driving the prices of those cards up like that and losing. I mean, we're talking like tens of thousands of dollars on some of the high-end stuff. And it's like,
So a couple notable teams have already been knocked out of the playoffs. So the Hawks got knocked out, so obviously Trae Young is done. And then
another one that his car prices should never be where they're at. They'll never have a team. Yeah.
The other one, though, is the Nets, who leading into the season, I believe, were the odds-on favorite to win the whole thing. They got swept by the Celtics 4-0. So what do you think about Kevin Durant? And that's Kevin's team, right? That's KD's team. He's an established player.
Yeah.
But to get swept like that is just, that can't be good for his prices, right? Or do you think it has no impact?
I mean, his stuff had already taken a big fall anyway.
Sure.
On Durant. And, I think Durant's getting up there in age, and for the things he's accomplished, through his career, I just don't see a good investment on Durant. And I think Durant is a great shooter. He's a great player, but not inside that organization. I mentioned earlier that it has to do with brand. It also has to do with organizations.
Yeah.
And so it's the organizations that are going to, make and break a lot of these teams. So it's one reason why LeBron wanted to go to L.A. I mean, you don't see him running up to Brooklyn to play, do you?
I think he recently said he may want to go to Brooklyn to
Did
play.
he really?
Yeah, he might have. Don't quote me on that, but he may have said that he wants to go there.
He wants to go there and play with KD and
Yeah,
try to
probably.
establish him a super team there and try to
Yeah.
get another
Yeah.
championship. Okay,
So,
whatever.
well, he's already played with Kyrie before too, so maybe that.
They don't like each other.
Yeah, well,
That's why they fell out in Cleveland.
Right. Well, I mean, they've got a love-hate relationship that maybe it may work. So, all right, I'm gonna grab my notes because we're gonna do quick hits on this one right now. So, and we are going to rewind this back and see how you did on this. So, Dallas Mavs are currently up against the Utah Jazz 3-2. Who's gonna win the series?
Dallas.
Okay. The Golden State Warriors versus the Denver Nuggets. The Warriors are up 3-1.
The Warriors.
Okay. Grizzlies versus the Minnesota Timberwolves, and Memphis on the back of John Morant is up 3-2. Who's going to win?
Memphis.
You think so? Okay. The 76ers and the Toronto Raptors. Philly is leading 3-2.
That's going to be the 76ers.
Okay. The Milwaukee Bucks and Chicago Bulls, and the Bucks are up 3-2 right now.
Yeah, that's the Bucks.
And
I know I picked all the ones that are
that
leading
are
by
right
game.
Yeah.
But there's a reason. I mean, all of those teams are going to be the ones to win. I mean, even if it was tied 2-2,
you still think
I'd still think those are the teams.
Yeah. I mean, they're strong teams. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, just the Grizzlies and the was it Timberwolves?
Yep.
I mean, that's another one. Anthony Edwards on there. I think he's a phenomenal player.
Yeah,
but he's
sure.
way overpriced.
Yeah.
John Morant is a phenomenal player. Way overpriced. People are going nuts on that.
True.
And
Well,
he is
he's
so
playing
injury
well.
prone, though.
Yeah.
And every time he jumps, he's like as big around as my finger. I'm expecting him to break when he hits the ground.
So he is having a really good series. I think he dropped 30 points last night in that game 5.
Yeah.
So
He's a great player.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Not a long-term investment.
Cool. So let's talk about the upcoming NFL draft is actually tomorrow. So we're filming this on Wednesday.
Okay.
It should come out later this week. So by the time this drops, it may already have happened. But the NFL draft. So a couple of cool questions. Anything that you know about the NFL draft for this year or players that you may be watching?
No, it's trash.
Okay, perfect. Step number 2, best quarterbacks.
I don't know.
All trash.
If that tells you anything, I don't know anything at all about any of those
there's-
quarterbacks. I saw some of the names on ESPN, but I don't even remember who they were.
Yeah.
There's like an Ohio State wide receiver that's supposed to be halfway
Correct,
decent that's coming out. There's one other quarterback. I don't know what it. No.
Cool.
I have no
Yeah,
idea.
it's actually doesn't look like that good of a draft class, so you're not that far off on that. But
Yeah, but hey, you know what?
What?
The price of Prizm football next year will go up.
Well, of course,
It's
I mean,
gonna
lose the
go
license.
up another. It's gonna
they
go
gotta get
up
it in while
another
they can.
20%.
Yeah,
Even for such
even with a weak class.
Yes.
Yeah, we will get to that in a moment. But here is one that you may know. Your team, your favorite team. I'm gonna go with Chiefs. Right?
Okay.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. All right. Kansas City Chiefs. Where do they need the most help? What position do they need to get specifically in this draft in order for you to be happy about it?
A wide receiver to replace Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. That's the number one thing.
Yes. And I actually hope they go out and get Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, that's true.
That's who I'd like for him to get, because there's nobody in that draft class that I mean, other than that, I think that wide receiver for Ohio's decent. I mean, ain't he?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Like, I literally have not followed any of that draft class because it's so terrible.
Cool. Well, tomorrow night, watch a little bit of the draft, at least first round. Like the first round's fun, and then after that, you're like, whatever. We're done.
I'll get a glass of tequila and watch.
Cool. All right, so we're gonna shift gears from the field onto the ice now. Do you pay any attention to NHL?
No.
Great.
No, I mean,
awesome segment. Anyway, NHL
I
playoffs
don't
are about to start.
understand that game.
Really?
I just don't. That and soccer, I don't watch them.
Oh man,
I watch the fights.
Got it,
if there's
right,
a fight, I
that
want to
makes
watch
sense.
that. But
Yep.
I don't. The puck up and down the thing.
Got it. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, so NHL playoffs are about to start. A bunch of good teams are going into that. We won't talk about it at all. We'll see how those progress. There are a couple players, to still continue to watch.
Should have got Carter in here for this one.
Yeah, we probably should. Maybe we'll do an NHL only episode at some point.
Yeah.
I will probably have to buy out too because I don't know much about the NHL. I'm a Detroit Red Wings fan though, so I'll give him credit for that. So
how are you a Red Wings fan, but you don't know anything at all about hockey.
Well, no, I know about the Red Wings, and I used to watch a ton of Red Wings games, but I don't still pay attention that deeply to the sport.
Gotcha.
So I understand the game, of course, but yeah.
I don't.
Growing up in Michigan, it's like southern Canada. So, yeah. All right. MLB kicked off. Baseball is where it's at. We have now between now and October to watch baseball take place. Some of the big players that are back, obviously Mike Trout's back, doing decent. Ohtani is okay right now. He hasn't started like a home run streak. Obviously, people are going to watch people like Vlad and Acuna and that type of stuff. Is there anyone in the baseball realm that you feel strongly about or that you invest in yourself?
I don't invest in baseball.
No one at all?
No. It's vintage baseball only for me.
Okay. Got it.
That's the only thing that I invest in baseball. I mean, I like Mike Trout. I think he's a phenomenal player.
Yeah.
Would I buy some Mike Trout on occasion? Yeah. But, I mean, he would be about the only one.
Gotcha.
And that's only because I like the guy.
Sure.
But, honestly, I don't think he's going to win a championship where he's at. I don't think I think he's already kind of crest that prime of his career.
Yeah.
But I still like the guy, and I like how he plays the game.
Right.
But it's vintage baseball for me.
Gotcha. Cool. Any vintage baseball you bought recently or no?
I picked up a 1909 T206 Ty Cobb.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, that's a
not
nice
too
card.
bad. I'm looking for a nice 52 tops Mickey Mantle to add to my stash of stuff. So
Very cool.
something really pretty.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good. Well, I can't wait to see that in a DCI holder.
That's right.
Cool. All right. So you kind of alluded to it earlier. I'll bring it up now. So there's a bunch of new sets that are coming out in May for football from last year.
Okay.
Does that make sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to walk through.
Makes no sense. I mean, we're getting ready to do the next draft, and they ain't even released.
Right, and they haven't even released last year's stuff.
Ridiculous.
But yeah. All right. So there are some of these big sets. So you have National Treasures. Something that are any of these things that you're going to buy right now? Are you going to consider buying National Treasures?
I'm going to buy Prizm, and I'm going to buy National Treasures.
Got it. Okay.
And the longer that they wait on getting the Prizm out, the more I'm disliking it, and I'll just buy National Treasures.
Got it. Okay, cool. So you've got Select and Prizm and National Treasures coming out the first 2 weeks in May right now. So scheduled for May 4th for National Treasures, May 11th for Prizm. So those are back-to-back weeks. So that's a big one for Panini, as well as Select is coming out soon.
They're moving. Most of the time, National Treasures releases after Prizm.
Correct, yeah. And it looks like now they're scheduled to release it a week before Prizm, probably because they're so far behind. And then just over a week after that, they're releasing Flawless. That's another big set, expensive set. Followed up by Obsidian, and then Optic, believe it or not, is coming out June 3rd. Which I thought Optic used to come out before Prizm came out, right? So
no, Optic come out after Prizm.
Okay.
National Treasures was always one of the last releases. I think Flawless might be the actual last release.
Yeah.
But man, that's a lot of high-end football in such a short window. Whew. I wouldn't be surprised if that stuff does not come out high and just tank
because there's just too many sets.
Yes.
Again, of all those high-end sets at the same time, that would be my worry.
Yep.
So
the only thing that's going to keep that high is the breakers selling those breaks at the high price points. That's the only thing that's going to keep that product high.
Got it.
If that wasn't in place, that product would tank right off the bat.
So if there's one case that you can get, which one do you buy?
National Treasures.
So you buy one case of NT.
And that's just because I'm not looking to buy all that stuff and then turn around and flip it. Now, if you're looking for lots of cards and the opportunity to flip more, then, I mean, you're going to be buying more along the lines of your Prizm. Sure. Prizm's the most liquid product that's out there.
Yeah,
I mean, it's super easy to turn.
Yeah. National Treasures is an interesting rip, though.
National Treasures is fun. I mean, but you would rip the patch cards and then I'd just put them in a box.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense. So, if you could only invest in either a case of National Treasures or Flawless, would you take Flawless or no?
National Treasures.
You would still stick with the NT. Okay.
And a lot of people like the Flawless just because they say that it's game worn.
Yeah.
I could care less if it's game worn, game used, event worn. Just give me a pretty patch and not a napkin and an on-card auto. That's all I want.
Yeah. That makes sense. So the napkin patches are such a disappointment.
Especially in such a high-end product. I mean, you pay $4,000, $5,000 for a box of Nationals Treasures, and you get it, and it's a single color patch, and some of them even have stickers.
Yeah.
That's
messed up. Yeah.
I hate sticker autos because that's laziness. That's complete laziness.
Yeah. I mean, I understand it for some products, but not for a big product like that.
I don't understand it for any products. It's laziness on the card manufacturers. They don't want to bring the athletes in to have the card signed on card.
Yeah.
So therefore they ship out the box of stickers for them to sign because it's less expensive.
Sure.
And easier, but then they turn around and they upcharge you on the product. Yeah. When it was less expensive for them to do anyway. That's so fair. If you're going to keep charging me more money on the product, then you better be bringing them athletes in and they better be signing on the card. If not, I ain't buying it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about stuff like Donruss and like those types of like Donruss, Phoenix, some of those brands that may make more sense to do that.
Hell, I mean, what do you pay for a box of Donruss now? $1,000?
Yeah, that's probably true.
I mean,
yeah, not that cheap.
Yeah,
that's a good point. So, which do you feel? And I think I know the answer to this is a better product between Prizm and Select. Which you think is a better product? Prizm.
Yeah, I'm not a Select fan.
Gotcha. So now I know one person can make an argument for Select is that you have multiple levels of the same rookie, and so therefore you could get more of those high-end rookies that you're searching for.
That's what I don't like. I don't like field levels and all that. I don't like all that.
Gotcha.
I don't even like the fact that Prizm does. I think they had like 40 different parallels of the same
keep adding
rookie.
More every single
and
year.
They do that so they can print more product and sell more product. But yeah, I don't even care for all that.
Gotcha. Do you think that there's too many sets in general right now? Okay. Is that ever going to change?
No. No.
Simple answers. Yes. No.
I mean, it's not.
I mean, it's just a flood of money, right?
Yes.
So
I mean,
if money.
Yes, that's exactly right. If you were making money hand over fist, what's the one thing that's always been taught to you? Don't change it if it ain't broken.
True.
And so this ain't broken. They continue to make money because everybody continues to want to pay for their product.
Yeah.
If people would stop paying the prices they wanted for their product and bring the prices back down, then they would eliminate some of those sets. But it's all about supply and demand.
Yeah.
And right now the hobby's willing to just pay. You see people, loading up on wax and stocking it up at the house. And I wouldn't buy a single box of investment wax from 2020 and 2021 and going forward because it's just overprinted.
Yeah.
You're going to end up with all that stuff. It's going to be some great fire starters. Invite me over. We'll roast some marshmallows and stuff with all that junk.
Yeah, so I actually saw yesterday. So I don't mind ripping Bowman baseball, just a little bit of it. And I saw yesterday that it released on like Walmart or Target or one of those. It's like $32 for a blaster now at this point.
That's crazy. And
I'm just like, it wasn't that long ago they were 20, right? And then probably even cheaper than that before. Mm-hmm. But it's just that some of the base stuff, because they're not going to hit a lot of good stuff in there, so just didn't seem worth it. So I passed up on that. So all right. Any last comments from you about sports that are going on right now, players that you might want to keep a watch for, or the upcoming sets?
No, not really. I'm really interested in that National Treasures. I want to see if they actually kept most of the cards as on cards.
Sure.
Autos. So that's probably my most intriguing set for me right now.
And are you going to buy National Treasures?
I am. Yes.
Are we going to rip it live here? Maybe one box.
I like to rip my stuff in private.
I know.
I don't know. We may do a box of Prizm, box of National Treasure, something along those lines. Maybe do both of them.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah, those are going to be the two products that I rep. And if I get a bunch of sticker autos, I'm driving over here to Panini and I'm dumping it on their doorstep, which is right around the corner.
There you go. So. Cool. All right. So for everyone out there, thank you so much for joining us on episode 7. Please subscribe, hit the little bell icon, and follow us at DCI Grading. DCI Grading, DCIGrading.com. Oh, totally forgot. Can you hit us up on that Cabo giveaway as well? Just give them just one more shout out on that.
Every card that you submit through our online portal, DCIGrading.com, every single card that you submit in for an RCR, you're going to get one entry into the Cabo trip giveaway. It's a 7-day beach vacation to a resort in Cabo. So you want to get in as many cards as you possibly can because the more entries you have, the better chance you have of winning. No limit on those entries.
Yep.
So get those cards in.
Cool. And that runs now through June 30th.
Through June
just so
30th.
people are
Yep,
aware.
absolutely.
Yep. Cool. That's awesome. Again, DCI After Hours, hit us up on Patreon, and we are out.
Big Sexy out.
Bye, everybody.